is empty, and all the devils are here. Hello everybody! Welcome to our second episode of our beautiful book club, The Devil's Library. This is Lygia here. Hail Satan! I have two of my dear friends with me. It's Laraj.
Hail Satan.
And Pike.
And hail thyself.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yes. And today we are going to talk about a really nice, short, tiny, but very famous book by Shirley Jackson. So I guess you can guess. It's the book called dum-da-da-da, The Haunting of Hill House. There you have it.
Fantastic.
Yay. I'm excited if you can tell.
That's the best introduction to a book you've ever done.
I don't know if people are going to agree with you, but yeah, this is what I just did, so we have to roll with this now.
It was great.
Also, I want to apologize if my sound is horrible. I am not using my proper microphone today because of issues. I will get better, guys. Bear with me, please. I'm sorry.
And I stole Lygia's proper microphone, so my sound is going to be better.
Yes!
Yeah, it's like you swap.
Like, you can't have everybody here to be perfect. Like, it's always gonna be one that's gonna be like the black coat.
That's all of us, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's literally all of us.
Yes! So, I know the sound might be a little bit tricky, so apologies.
It'll be fine.
Apologies. Okay.
So, The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
I'll give a brief kind of like rundown of it, just so we can get kicked off. So, The Haunting of Hill House is a story, the archetypal story, some might say, of New American Gothic haunted house. And it tells the story primarily of the bad place, which in this case is called Hill House. It's also the story of a young woman called Eleanor Vance, who comes to Hill House as part of a team of investigative people. I don't know how to describe them. And it's about what happens to them while they're there in Hill House. Does that sound?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound. Yes.
Okay. So I guess we should start. I mean, to me, the story really starts with that absolutely incredible that introductory paragraph, which is just one of the best opening paragraphs to a novel that I've ever read. It's just fantastic.
I agree.
And ends up with, and whatever walked there walked alone, which is just unbelievably good.
Yeah.
So much so that Stephen King lifted it almost word for word for Salem's Lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, It felt familiar.
Yeah.
Now I know where from.
Well, he said he was inspired. He created, what's it called? The big mansion that Straker lives in Salem's Lot. He based that on Hill House.
Okay.
And he used that line, whatever walked there walked alone, I think pretty much explicitly.
Yeah.
In Salem's Lot. Yeah.
And I think he did say somewhere that this book or this story is one of the most terrifying horror stories. I don't know if that's based on like real statement, but I've heard that so many times. I don't know. We will get there. We'll get there. If we agree with that, because, we didn't say much.
So what did you guys think of it as an overall book, first of all?
So I was very nervous about reading this because I know that both of you are big fans, and I tend to be quite critical. So I thought, oh no, if I hate this, it's going to be very difficult because, how do I... But luckily I really liked it.
Oh, good.
It wasn't what I expected. I mean, it is scary, it is a horror story, but it's not like the previous book that we read. It is not just about that. That's not the main idea of it. It had some very beautiful poetic language in places. And I loved the descriptions of the house itself, the way its personality is expressed through architecture and sounds, the scent of a bush, the ash falling in the fireplace. I really liked it.
Yeah, there's that whole thing that
Exactly.
Lovecraft tried to do the same with this kind of like idea of geometry that's not really quite right.
Yeah.
You know, triangles that have a degree count that are not quite adding up to 180, or, things like that. It's kind of like perspective seems a little bit off. And I think that really kind of like built the idea of the house itself as having, as being wrong, as being intrinsically not right. There was something off about it, which gave it a very large personality all of its own, I think.
Yeah, and the doctor, what was his name? Montague. He actually was saying something in those lines, like, there is no, like, the angles of this house and the measurements is just all wrong. Like, there is no straight wall or whatever. Like, nothing is what it seems to be. Like, the doors are a little bit skew. The floor is, angled, and it all makes you feel, you can't see it with your eyes, but your body, the thing that you have to, like, the balance and whatever, like, something is wrong, you can't see it, so it doesn't connect with the what you are seeing, and you see other people walking around and you're like, is it just me? It's so well done. I love this because it's so subtle and it's like constant. So good.
Yeah, it reminded me of the, I get motion sickness, which means that I have real trouble sitting in the back seats of cars, and I can't play video games at all. I just can't. And it reminded me of that, the kind of like contradiction between what your eyes can see and what your body feels, with the balance.
Yeah.
That kind of feeling of, it's not right, there's something wrong.
Yes.
It doesn't add up. Yeah.
And it's a book, so do this with words. I mean, that's so good.
It made me think how in Piranesi, the house is really beautiful and benevolent. Here the house is malevolent, but it is also lovable in the same way I feel that as Piranesi's house is lovable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I got the sense that Eleanor was appalled by it, but also kind of really attracted to it in the same way, at the same time. She could see that it looked horrific, but she was also really wanted to be there all the time.
Were you both? Did you find yourselves going from sort of fearing the house to liking the house, just like Eleanor did? No?
Not in any way.
You didn't?
I never want to go there. No,
really?
Never.
I might be the weirdo here. Again, nothing new. I would love to actually have this experience in my life at some point, to actually find a house that would do this to me. I would love to feel all of that, and I think I would just stay there.
Do you want to hear a bit of backstory?
Please.
So, Shirley Jackson decided to write the novel after she heard about a real life event where 4 or 5 people had done some psychic investigation into a house. And she thought, that'd make a good idea for a ghost story or a haunted house novel. And so she started researching, and she started looking around for houses that she could sort of like look at and base visually Hill House on.
Uh-huh.
And she visited, I think it was New York one day, and she saw this house, and it was just the most horrendous looking house she'd ever seen it. And she thought, that's Hill House.
Wow.
And she went home, and I can't remember what city she lived in at the time, but she contacted someone in New York and said, hey, I saw this house, here's the address, could you find out a little bit more about it? And it turns out that the house she'd spotted had been built by her great-grandfather.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
You see, this is amazing. Like, oh my God. And did she go there? Did she go inside?
Nope, she was like me. She was like, fuck that. I ain't going anywhere near it.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fair enough. I would. And I absolutely loved that house and everything.
What about you, Pike? Did you like it? Or come to like it?
I did. I felt like that does not mean I would want to go to Hill House. Like I said, I'm a wuss. I don't really want to be scared by a house of all things. But I think the way Eleanor was changing her attitude to the house, the descriptions of the house were changing as well. And so I was, I guess, empathizing with Eleanor's feelings towards the house as well.
Do you think, I remember the first time I read it, and it was a very, very long time ago. I think I was in my late teens when I first read it. I remember thinking that she liked it so much because it would have been the first thing in her life that she'd chosen to do, that she'd had the choice to do, and she went. And that's part of the reason that she fell in love with the house, or whatever that relationship is. Maybe love is the wrong word.
It might have become a symbol for her, a symbol of her first big journey out of the family situation she was in, which I don't know how true the picture of that is. I'm trying to say this, like the book was written, I think, in 1959. And so the 50s, there was this really, really tense atmosphere in the women's world where, the men were not present because of the war, and they were slowly coming back to like normal life, or they were not coming back. They were, and women had to become also men of the family, and they had to go to work, which maybe wasn't the plan before. And then when the men came back, there was this situation like, okay, so I have this work now. I am in this new, new situation. Do I go back to the housewifing? And it was really tense. And there was, I've read a lot of papers around this, that like Shirley is perfect with this, because I think her horror is based in this domesticity, which is weirdly working still, well, on me, anyway, because she, as a woman, I think she suffered with this. It is this silent, constant fear of failing as a woman in the new aspects which you don't even know if they are yours, if that's your choice or it should be your choice. You have a family, you are a wife, you are a mother, and now you're facing all these horrors of that, like everyday mundane shite you have to do. And
have you read anything else by her?
Oh, I have. What's the name of it? Hold on. Oh, I can't really now.
Because a lot of her other work centres around that same idea.
We have always lived here.
In the castle?
In the castle, yes. And I also have seen a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also really good book.
Yeah.
But
a lot of her work does centre around that idea you just discussed.
Yeah.
Not only in terms of being a woman, but just the whole idea of being on the outside, an outsider.
Yeah.
She wrote a very famous short story called The Lottery.
Oh, yeah.
Which centres around that idea almost exclusively.
Yes.
And I think what you just said then is very true, particularly in terms of Eleanor more than Theo. And I think this whole idea about her having a choice for the first time.
I'm not sure how really the relationship in the family was in the 50s, because some of the dialogues and joking atmosphere between those four people in the house, I don't know how you guys, I will just say what I felt like. The jokes were so not funny. I say that. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose or this was the humor in that time. Like, this was something that was funny, or am I not getting it? But I thought like they are speaking like children, and they were like in their 30s. I'm like, what? This is not. I'm not criticizing her. I'm just saying like that was something that was really like the guy. What was his name? The Luke. I think he was supposed to be like a witty, a little bit like posh or something guy who has an answer to everything and who is like above the whole thing, and he's like joking around, and he was so annoying and boring. I wanted him to be so much more witty and the humor to be like really dark. And it was just like children, like high school humor, like, oh, so, you know. And I don't know how to deal with that because I love the book.
I think it's reflective of its time to a
Probably.
certain degree. And I think as well that, and maybe you guys might disagree, I don't know, but I think all those characters were people who struggled in personal relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, the only ones we really saw were Eleanor's and later on Dr. Montague's with his wife and that weird dude.
We do know about Theodora's friend. I don't know, friend or friend, scare quotes. They have a fight, a very dramatic fight before she comes.
So maybe these kind of and they're conversations of people who have only just met and are getting to know each other a little bit. I think they were well written, but I agree with you that they're fairly childish, immature people, all four of them, in a lot of ways.
I will say that people do joke that way nowadays, because I definitely have friends who can go off on one of these sort of imaginative, it's almost like storytelling, isn't it? Where Luke says, oh, and I'm a bullfighter, and Theodora is the... I forgot who she was.
Yeah.
But, you know, they come up with these little stories about what is happening, even though that's not what's happening. They're entirely imagined. And I have friends who do that, absolutely. I think it's more particular to people than a period of time.
Okay. You see, it's good because I really needed to talk about this. It's not something that would be bothering me or like I would dislike the book. I just needed your opinions on that. Like,
you found it jarring.
I don't know. Maybe my humor, I am so corrupted. Maybe. I don't know. I just wanted some like, you know, like, and it was so beautiful, all like the flowers, and we are going to have a picnic. I'm like, yeah, but like, say something more about it. Like, obviously, the tension between these two young ladies was there as well. So maybe I wanted more of that. Like maybe she couldn't, or she didn't dare to write more, or this is exactly the limit she wanted to go to. You know what I'm talking about?
I think she didn't want to make it. I mean, the whole book is written very ambiguously.
Yeah, that's
Everything
true.
in it is ambiguous. And I think that was a deliberate choice on her part. I think she wanted, I think she wanted us to think, is Theodora gay? Or am I reading too much into it? Or am I thinking that Eleanor thinks that Theodora might be gay? And there's this ambiguity, and it kind of like adds to the tension of the whole book, I think.
I have a theory about that. I think what happens there is, so Eleanor chooses the house chooses Eleanor, and Eleanor chooses the house because that's the house is the only one who ever does choose her. She does mention at some point that she's so lonely that people are always, well, not forgetting she's there, but she's always overlooked. And so she tries to find some kind of connection to Luke, and it's not there. And then she tries to find some kind of connection with Theodora as well. And that's not, in the end, there is this almost hostility from them. And in the end, that's why I think she finds that connection with the house. You know, when she hears
Yeah.
the voice of
Yeah.
the house and she's happy because nobody else hears it. It's only her.
Mm.
You know, I was thinking about the whole, if there was just like one point that I could tell about this book, I think it's about the identity, the missing identity of Eleanor. Like, she wasn't allowed to grow the relationship with her sister from what we know. If that was really true, what she was thinking, and we only know Eleanor's story, but if that was real, she was treated like a child. She was not allowed to really have her own life and build any adult relationships, whatever, travel, just be an adult. And so, but I was thinking, what if the whole thing is actually not real? What if the house is not real? What if this is just her looking for anything than what she had, and like she is looking for the identity. She wants to have something that wants her. And she keeps saying, like, nobody ever wanted me anywhere.
Yeah.
And she keeps asking, like, she actually didn't ask Theodora. She just told her, you know what? I'm gonna follow you. And I was like, what? I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna live with you.
All right, stalker.
Yo.
So what's in? So what's in it for the house? Why? Because the house what the writing on the wall says, and I quote, "Help Eleanor, come home, Eleanor." Now, to me, there's a number of ways you can read that. Is the house saying, "Help Eleanor, come home," or is the house saying, "Help Eleanor, come home"? Or, do you know what I mean? It's ambiguous. Is the house talking to the other three and saying, "Help Eleanor"? Or is it talking to her and saying, "Come home, Eleanor"? Mm-hmm. So why do we think it is that Hill House has chosen Eleanor? Why does it identify so strongly with her?
Because I think of that loneliness.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lack of personality, really, like, she just takes on to herself whatever comes her way. I loved those pages where she was going in her car and she was seeing the house with the lions, and immediately she was like, oh, I have my whole life in this house. And then she saw the oleanders and she goes like, oh, I can just be here. Like, everywhere, anywhere, any place, she could just be there because she just didn't know where to go, where to be, who she is. So I felt like this house, or the idea of the house, actually wrapped around her, and she couldn't bear that weight because she didn't have any, you know, how do I say, not personality, you know what I mean?
Mm.
It was her decision at the end.
I read, not an interview, sorry, I read a piece by Stephen King. He used to be a lecturer once upon a time before he became an author. And he did a piece on The Haunting of Hill House. And he described Eleanor as a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that sounded a bit cruel, but I can kind of see what he says. But it seems a little bit over the top. I don't think she's a narcissist. But she is. Everything that happens. I mean, I think apart from the first chapter and the last chapter, we're literally with Eleanor the whole time. Yeah. Throughout the whole book. And she's kind of like, she makes everything that happens about her.
Yeah, we see the whole story through her perspective, and we don't know what is actually real. And the narcissist, I just don't like how this term is being misused currently. Like, it's everywhere, everybody is a narcissist, and it just loses the whole point of the word. I don't know what he meant by it. I don't see it, but...
I don't think it... I also thought narcissist was the wrong word, but I understand that. I think what he was trying to say, that she was quite self-centered. But I think all four of the characters were in their own way.
I think that the character who is telling a story of a personal experience will always come across as self-centered because they are at the center.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was over the top. I didn't feel like she had that controlling pull over each situation like a narcissist does.
And And she was questioning herself all the time, like, am I too loud? Am I speaking too much? Like, she was trying to, like, retrospect what the word is, like, question her words afterwards. I am just going today, like, I'm rhyming even. But, and also, how that was really sad, those moments where she was actually observing parts of herself, like, I have red shoes, I have these nails. I'm like, this is so sad. I don't know, I can't describe how that made me feel, because I thought she needs to actually slow down, like, and look at herself to believe she actually is. I don't know.
She's the only person who notices herself
Yeah.
until Hill House notices her.
Yeah, I don't know. It just made me so sad for her. I don't know why.
Do you remember the story of the house that Dr. Montague told, and the story of the companion in particular?
Yes.
And what happened? Because that seemed to me to be kind of like almost a mirror of of Eleanor's story.
Yeah.
You know, even down to there's two sisters who don't get on, and one of the sisters comes to live in Hill House with a companion, and the mother dies in the house, and it's kind of like intimated that it might be through neglect, and maybe a little bit more than just neglect. And the companion ends up hanging herself from the turret. So, I mean, that can't be a coincidence, surely. I mean, that's literally Eleanor's life before and during Hill House.
Yes.
There was a moment in the book where Eleanor starts to kind of disappear into the house a little bit. Where I thought the book was going to take a different direction than it did. I thought she was going to merge into the house, and she never existed outside of that group. And all the writing, the banging, it was her. And that she, you know...
Ooh.
Yeah? I mean...
Go on, carry on.
Maybe it was her who hanged herself previously, or that she somehow... ends up being in the past of her house.
Almost like Eleanor is the ghost of the companion coming back to Hill. Oh my God, that's a brilliant idea.
I love that.
It's dark.
Oh, yes. Give it
we
here.
like dark.
I like that.
I wanted to ask both of you. I mean, did you find Eleanor a sympathetic character?
Ultimately, yes.
Me too.
So, something that I found quite interesting about this, compared to I have a very limited experience with horror genre in general. And I wonder if it's just my limited experience, or if it's reflective of a more general trend. But it seemed to me that a lot of the time in horror stories, the protagonists are very annoying. They're not particularly likable. So when they get, killed or scared, you don't feel a lot of sympathy. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And here it felt very different to me. Do I just have very limited experience of it, and there's more to it?
I can certainly see why you would think that, but I think that's more common in horror movies than horror novels.
Right.
I'm thinking of, the other most famous haunted house novel that I can think of off the top of my head is The Shining. And certainly in the novel of that, which, by the way, and I'm sorry, I'm going to piss off a lot of people now, the novel is 1,000,000 times better than the fucking movie.
I agree.
The character of Jack Torrance in The Shining is very much more tragic and likeable, even though he's a fairly awful person, than he's ever presented in the movie. So, and I do think that kind of, it's certainly what you said about the likability of characters. There's usually a kind of like a couple of really annoying people that, are quite obviously, they're red shirts from Star Trek. They're obviously determined, they're going to die. And they're going to die. and they're there to die, basically. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think that's more common in movies than novels.
Right. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Well, I have read some books where I couldn't connect to anybody, and one book I couldn't finish because of that. Like, I just hated those two people, and I wanted them to die immediately, and I wanted that to be like, please, don't continue with any more pages, because this is stupid. Well, it's not like just annoying, but if the book is actually stupid, the story is stupid. Like, yeah, no, okay, I'm not gonna go there, but I think I understand your question. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a rule, but it's an interesting question. I really need to think about it more. Or maybe, we're different people, different opinions, different approach to the book or the story, so I might be connecting to the person because of what I feel, and for you it might be completely annoying and horrible, and I might be in love with that person like I would, so depend. I don't know. With Eleanor, I really felt sad for her the whole time, and I did not like the end at all.
You didn't? But you
I
said
mean, I did, but also I wish the whole thing ended up somehow. I hate when it happens. I absolutely hate when that happens, like nobody was able to save her, help her, understand her, hug her. It's awful.
I think at the end, they thought the rest of them, the other three, thought they were doing the right thing by removing her from the presence of the house. But it was far too late by then. For Eleanor, it was far too late, I think.
I don't know, I think they thought they are doing the right thing, but I disagreed with the approach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The way they did it, I would feel like I'm pushed to do something stupid. Because she was left alone even now. Like, she was telling them, I don't want to go. So I think what she needed, I think this whole thing is a metaphor. I don't think we need to be taking it like this is actually what happened. Or maybe it was 15 minutes just in her head, the whole thing. And she only took the car from her sister and then she did this and the whole story just happened. I don't know. Yeah. That's also like in my mind, that's possible because of all the stories she was creating in her head with the lions and with a cup of stars. And, it was beautiful. I love those stories. That's like, I'm coming back to those pages. It's so beautiful with that little girl in that restaurant, like, insist on your cup of stars. It's one of my favorite sentences. But I think she was just trying to tell herself, like, I don't want to live this mundane life. Insist on something better, Eleanor. There is something more than this for me in this world. And she didn't find it or I don't know. Sorry, Pike. Say what you want to say.
Once they have trapped you into being like everyone else, you will never see your cup of stars again.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that too. I wrote it down.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, there are a few sentences in this book that are so strong that I can absolutely, look away from the not funny jokes and the boring look, whatever. But this one I think it says a lot about her.
You said you would like to stay in Hill House forever. That's essentially what happened to her. That's what she did. I thought it was sad, but it was also, I don't know, it didn't leave me feeling crushed. She had her last thoughts were like, gotcha. You think you are driving me away, but I'm going to stay there.
You can't send me away.
And I felt quite uplifted by the ending. Sad, but uplifted at the same time.
Yeah, but then again, her very last thought was, is it me doing this?
Yes.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's confusing to me.
I think the Eleanor in the latter stages of the book would have been happy with her own. I mean, Stephen, again, the thing I read from Stephen King, and I'll send you the link to it once we're done. He says that Eleanor would think it was a happy ending, but Shirley Jackson would not think it was a happy ending. and I think that's probably true.
That's good.
So I've got a question for you two. Was it frightening?
Oh, yes. Come on.
It was...
Lygea's more hardened than us.
In a way, yeah. You see, I am unable to just reply in one word. It's horrible. I do try. Frightening, not in the way of the, like, house being frightening to me, or the stuff that was happening. Was it happening? Was it? I don't know. It was very subtle. There is no, like, jump scares, screams. I love that type of scary, like, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you never actually see anything
Nothing.
at all.
So, frightening in a really, like, psychological way, again, connected to the women in the society and being trapped in the role that they're questioning, because now, you know, in, like, the 50s, 60s, they had these new questions. It was called, I think, the, like, feminine mystique, which sounds really romantic, but actually it meant, like, this mystique question that they can't really even put words into place. Like, what is bothering me? I have this home, I have a husband, I have kids, I have a space where I belong. Everybody is living in the same way. It has been like this for a long, long, long time, centuries. Why do I feel so unhappy that I just want to freaking burn everything, you know, like, and it's not true. You love your family, you want to be there, but also you have this mystique question in yourself, like, I'm gonna snap, and I don't know why. And I felt that through this book again, like, this whole was just like the subconscious. Maybe I'm talking about myself, actually, because I used to feel like that, you know, back in my country. I was trapped.
I don't think, I think that's a valid take on it. I mean, I think the way that Eleanor in particular felt constrained was kind of like mirrored in the way, I mean, you remember how Hill House was described as situated in these kind of like looming, overbearing hills and mountains that they were locked the whole house in, and it was very difficult to see past them or get out of them. And I think that was kind of that feeling of constraint that you were talking about in terms of her own femininity and what she felt her role should be in society was kind of like mirrored by the constraints that were physically there for Hill House.
Right. And also what was the lady that was cooking? What's her name?
Mrs. Dudley?
Dudley. Mrs. Dudley. And her 5 sentences, you know, I felt like that's exactly the housewife mindset. Like, I put this on this table at 6 p.m. And whatever they ask her, she is just autopilot, just a robot. She is a piece of furniture that does the stuff. She cooks great. She knows where everything belongs. You can't put it in any other place because this is how it is. And she is being reduced to this. Like, maybe I'm reading something else into the whole thing.
No, I don't think you are.
But
I think that's true.
Just like, oh God. And the doors that kept closing. Again, like, they were trying to get some air, some new life into this, and the door was just, no. Like, you're not going anywhere. What do you think? You're just here.
What?
Yeah. The doors that wouldn't stay open.
No. Oh my God.
And the fact that they kept getting lost and they couldn't find their way through. I mean, yes, Hill House was obviously a big house, but it didn't seem to me to be so big that you would constantly get lost within it. Yeah. And yet they could never find, you know, they'd have to shout down corridors to locate each other. Yeah. And sort of things like that. And I think that all kind of like plays into what you were talking about, Lygia, that idea of constraint. Yeah.
That's my take on the story. I don't know. Maybe it's also because what I think Shirley's other works, they were also around this topic. And I know that she wasn't really happy, and she had this lifelong, not problem, but like with her mother, it wasn't great because her mother was absolutely like a completely different, personality. She was this socialite, butterfly, and she was happy with her place in society as a woman that keeps her home clean and the parties, and she was happy to be like a husband's wife,
Right.
But no, not everybody. I don't think Shirley wanted to be in a relationship like that. And I know there was a slight problem that she chose to marry this Jewish guy, which, like, obviously the racism, like the anti-Semitism is not as obviously seen as, like, if some people have problems with the other races. But it was there. And again, like like I think she carried this tension from her mom, because she was like pointing out like her body shaming issue, like, oh, Shirley, nobody wants to do that. And not every woman wants to just be pretty in this world and then die. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
like a flower.
If that's enough for you, good, fine, be you, whatever. Sit in a corner, be pretty wife, whatever. But I don't think Shirley wanted that, but she felt that being like expected from her. And I think that's awful.
It is awful.
Like a beautiful flower that Eleanor picks and then stares into its dead face.
Yes.
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 Exactly.
Oh my god, that one was like, this is heavy metal. No, it's dead. Ooh, that's a good one.
When I asked you both if you found it frightening, Pike went, yes, immediately. So why did you find it frightening? What did you find frightening about it?
This is going to be quite shallow, but simply the supernatural stuff, because it's quite faithful to people's accounts of poltergeists and, the banging on the doors. And I know it's supposed to escalate, so constantly waiting for that escalation that doesn't, it moves very slowly. Something I really liked about this book is there are breather spaces in between. So if something horrible happens, but then you have them joking and making conversation. You relax a little bit, and then something else happens, and then you relax a little. So, I mean, I didn't have a problem sleeping, but it was intense.
Right.
I that's how I was the first time I read it.
How old were you?
I think I was about 16, 17 at the time. And obviously at 16, 17, you don't pick up on the kind of like nuances that maybe we're talking about now. Yeah. At the time, I was just like, oh, she's holding the hand of a ghost, or the ghost is banging on the, and all that. And it was that aspect that I found very frightening. And it's still, even now, I've read that book like, I God knows how many times, but even reading it again, it's still, it's not nice.
What did you guys think about the doctor's wife coming there and her attitude?
She was so annoying. Yeah, that whole bit was kind of like a bit out of. I remember thinking that the first time I read it. It was like, so far we've had the story of these four people, and it's been, and then all of a sudden there's this pair of really truly awful people. Yeah. And I still now can't really see
why.
I'm not saying it was bad or superfluous, but I didn't really, and I still don't really understand what the point of them was.
Yeah, because the story, if they were missing, the story wouldn't suffer that much, I think. I was thinking about it, that's why I brought this up, but could it be like Shirley wanted to maybe bring a little bit of like a comical, like caricature of exactly what I'm still talking about? Like this guy had this wife and she came there to give it proper, this is how it is. And I'm gonna help you, and I'm gonna do it properly because because you can't do anything without me. I'm the housewife. This is a house and you need me here. And it was actually so comical and annoying and ridiculous that I think she meant it to be that way.
I think she did. And the fact that, I can't even remember the character's name. Dr. Montague's wife. What's her name?
I don't think we know, do we?
Do we ever find out? Jesus,
I think he only called her like dear or...
Did he? I thought he named her. Oh, I can't remember.
I might be wrong.
But to me, it spoke volumes that her favourite person in the house was Mrs. Dudley.
Yeah.
She seemed to get on the best with...
Yeah.
Get on with Mrs. Dudley. Thoroughly approve of Mrs. Dudley.
Yeah.
Everyone else can go and fuck off.
Yeah.
And that, I'm afraid, is where we reached the end of the podcast. We're not quite sure what happened, but the last 4 or 5 minutes got cut off. You didn't miss anything of any real importance. What we did from that point on was go on to discuss what book we were going to read next. If you'd like to read along with us for our next episode, which will be roughly 3 or 4 weeks' time, we're going to be reading Sundial by Catriona Ward. So from all of us, on behalf of Lajea and Pike and myself, hail Satan, read some good books, and we'll see you next time.